Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome everyone to the Berks County Commissioner's weekly COVID-19 update. And we're calling this week's program Preparing to Go to Yellow. I think everyone is aware that effective June the 5th, Berks County is scheduled to move from the red phase to the yellow phase. I want to welcome everyone participating in our program today. As always, we have Commissioner Kevin Barnhart, we have Commissioner Michael Rivera, and then we have four guests representing various businesses here in Berks County. I'm going to give you their names and businesses, but you'll get to meet them a little bit later in the program. We have Lynn Kreider from LJ's Fitness. We have Patsy Hahn from Patsy's Potpourri. We have Jill Rowley from Advanced Hearing Aid Center. And we have Sarah Gingrich from Maple Grove Raceway. As always, I want to remind everyone that if you would like to ask a question, if you're from the media, please go to the Q&A, or the public, go to the Q&A section and give us your name and the media you represent, and then your question. And the media may ask multiple questions. If you're from the public, you may ask one question. This is primarily targeted to the media, but if you ask a question, we need your name and the municipality that you're from. And again, just simply click on the Q&A box. With that, we're going to move into the program. As I noted, June the 5th, Berks County is moving to the yellow phase. I'm not going to go into all the details, but the focus is making sure that Berks County is doing everything as county government, as businesses, and as individuals to be prepared for the next phase. Here at the county level, we're working with departments, with our facilities, to put into place the new standards that will apply to access to the facilities for both the public and employees. Looking at things as simple as an elevator. How many people should be in an elevator? We'll continue to require people that come to county facilities to wear a mask. But probably within the next 5 to 6 days, we will be releasing the plan for county government facilities. It not only will affect the downtown county services center and the county courthouse, but it will also impact the North Campus, the Ag Center, Berksheim Jail, the BCRC. Secondly, we want to highlight that even though things are clearly improving, statistically, and we shared this last week, the case numbers are down dramatically in Berks County, and we're very glad for that. But we need to continue to focus on the people that are most vulnerable. I cannot emphasize enough. Every single day, I and my colleagues see the redacted death certificates from our coroner's office. We're only talking about those people that have tested positive for COVID and where the doctor and medical professionals have indicated that if not for COVID, they would still be alive. These individuals overwhelmingly, probably in excess of 95%, are elderly. And when you look at those with underlying conditions, roughly 99% of those that have died in Berks County are in that category of the most vulnerable. Places like our nursing homes, long-term care facilities need to continue to take very, very serious measures to protect those that are most vulnerable. I've said to my own parents, my mother is 93, my father's going to be 87 in just a couple of weeks, that they need to continue to stay at home. We're going to continue to do their shopping. And I would encourage you to do the same for friends and relatives that are in those categories where they are part of the most vulnerable. Commissioner Barnhart is going to be presenting next. I am glad to have him as part of our team of commissioners. All three of us are doing things that I would say, Kevin, probably 5 months ago, we had no idea how to do what we're doing, but we're focused and we're doing what needs to be done to help our community, help our residents, and to help our businesses. With that, Commissioner Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, Commissioner Rivera, and our participants today. And yes, this is not something we planned for as we started our new term in January with our new colleague, Commissioner Rivera. So I want to just roll from what you were discussing about moving from red to yellow and discuss the Do Your Part, Stop the Spread Berks County. This has been an ongoing effort of my colleagues and many people in the county working on doyourpartberks.com. It's a very interactive website, very good information on there. You can see it at doyourpartberks.com or on the County of Berks website. You can call it up. A lot of resources on there to help us stop the spread by doing our part. It will list on there as part of the information as cases by zip codes, not specific people, but by zip codes if you're curious as to where the concentration of cases are, not just in Berks County, but you can look at the state as well. There's also materials, posters I've seen displayed prominently in a lot of businesses I have driven by in the last few weeks. That's available on the website. You can download free posters both in English and Spanish. Thank you to Commissioner Rivera for helping us with the Spanish interpretation of everything we're doing here. There also are resources, CDC, Department of Health, a lot of clicks, just a click and you can get a lot of information as to, as Commissioner Leinbach pointed out, what we need to do now and what we need to do in the future, keeping each and every one of us safe from this virus. And our contact is obviously commissioners@countyofberks.com. We are willing and able to hear your concerns and comments. We certainly like to hear constructive things as well to help us and guide us. We certainly don't have all the answers. We get a lot of questions. We don't have all the answers, but we are certainly looking for the community support. And I think as time has progressed, the community has really come together, and we have really helped to flatten that curve, an often used term. We want to keep that curve flattened as we go into yellow and then ultimately into green. There are certain protocols that are in place for all these three colors, and there are certain things that are lifted. So we'd like to, at some point, get back to normal in the not too distant future, but being mindful that there is still a virus out there among us. So on a very positive note, our Election Services Department is a strong group of 11 people, have been working round the clock for the last 2 months, actually worked this past Saturday and Memorial Day to get us ready for our election, which is the primary Tuesday, June 2nd, this coming Tuesday. Here are some numbers for you. We have 202 polling locations throughout the community. We had 38 that were requested to move to a different venue. We've been able to relocate 24 of them to different places. So the new polling locations, over 30,000 voters were sent letters indicating if you voted here, now you have to vote here in the primary. Hopefully, you'll move back to the place that you originally had voted in before. We have 1,200 poll workers that come out to man the 202 polls. We've only had 300 decide they did not want to come out early part of April because of underlying health conditions, age, and things like that, which we completely understand. And through a lot of effort, a lot of calls by election services, a lot of public information, we have that down to less than 40 to 50 vacancies in 202 polls with 1,200 workers. So thank you to the community. We did raise the pay for the day to $180 from $110 and $120. We think that has helped somewhat. Now here are really interesting numbers. In 2012, the last non-contested presidential primary, we had 45,123 voters. This primary, we've received applications for 47,746 ballots. So far to date, 24,600 have been returned. And if you could see a picture of election services, you can see what 24,600 ballots look like, all through the office, doing a great job. As far as election day, polls have been electrostatically sanitized. Almost all of them have been done by a professional firm to give people peace of mind when they walk into the polls. Our poll workers will have gloves and shields that they will be wearing throughout the day. We strongly encourage you to wear a mask when you come to vote in person. Please socially distance, and we will be providing a glove and a Q-tip for you to be able to touch screen when you come in to vote. So a lot of things are taking place there, and it's really appreciated that people follow safe distancing, wear their masks, strongly encourage them to wear their masks to vote. We want to make this an error-free election. And one of the things we picked up on today in our Reading precincts, we have 48 precincts in Reading. Over the last few weeks with Commissioner Michael Rivera and Brian Gottschall, our Director of Emergency Services, have been distributing masks throughout the community. Brian thought it'd be a good idea if we gave 100 masks to each of the polling precincts, 4,800 in total. Debbie's judge of elections are going to encourage people, if they come to the polls and need a mask, to give them a mask, obviously. Then they can vote and to take that mask home. So I think we've distributed several thousand masks at this point. We'll probably have another 4,800 distributed on Election Day. Thank you to Brian and Debbie for coordinating this. So come out and vote. We'd like to have people feel safe and secure coming out to vote. And if you have applied for a ballot and received a ballot, they must be mailed with a stamp or into election services by 8 o'clock election night. Do not take that completed ballot to the polls. They will not accept it at the polls. It has to be in the mail or in election services by 8 p.m. June 2nd. Do not take your completed mail-in or absentee ballot to the polls. There is a backup plan at the polls. If you do arrive, the book will say provisional only. Provisional is a hand ballot, which you'll complete, and then that will be cross-referenced. If you mailed in a ballot and you provision voted in your precinct, they're going to cancel each other out. You only get to vote once. So for people that think there's a way to vote multiple times, there's a lot of systems of checks and balances here. Believe me, you will not be able to vote twice. One of those ballots will count. So I know I went into a little detail, and I know numbers are important, and I wanted to put that out there. And again, I want to thank our participants on the call today. I think it's going to be very informative for the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart. And I did forget to note Commissioner Barnhart chairs our Board of Elections. Appreciate his service. He's done that. I think this is your 13th consecutive year, other than the years we run. You can't do it the years we run. So three times in the past that hasn't happened. But thank you very much. Commissioner Rivera, if you could talk to us a little bit about the Small Business Loan program and the effort with the Chamber Alliance on rebuilding Berks.
Yes, thank you very much, Commissioner Leinbach, and also thank you, Commissioner Barnhart, for your valuable information as well. Very much appreciate that. In reference to the small business loan, it is called the Small Business Restart Loan Program, and it's an effort to assist local small businesses struggling during the COVID-19 crisis. And there's up to $2.3 million available in interest-free loans to local small businesses struggling to pay bills and maintaining payroll during this shutdown. You can find more information on it at by visiting doyourpartberks.com, which is the website that Commissioner Barnhart spoke about previously. Again, it's doyourpartberks.com for more information. Once you're in the website, you can click on the resources tab and then on Berks County Small Business Program. The application period will be from June 15th to June 19th, and it will not be on a first come, first served basis. So if you can't get in there right on June 15th, don't worry about it. You'll have some additional days. And what will happen is all the applications will be received once the deadline closes. Then all the applications will be reviewed equally. And then Neighborhood Housing Services, who's doing that process, will then determine who the loan recipients will be. And the applications will be accepted by qualified for-profit, privately held small businesses that have been in business at least as of April 1 of last year and are located in a municipality within the county of Berks. Now, this loan particularly is for businesses that are located outside the city of Reading. And the reason being is that because the funds that are used for this loan prohibit the county from using it within the city of Reading, because the city of Reading gets its own pot of funds from the same place, which is to be used within the city of Reading. So if you are within the city of Reading, you can apply for a similar loan, which the city has, and you can go to readingpa.gov for an application there. Their loan program is being handled by Community First Fund. So again, there's the county program and there's the city program. And if you're in the city, apply for the one in the city. And all qualified small business loan applications must demonstrate and or provide evidence of financial hardship that was sustained due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And if you meet the eligibility requirements, you can submit an application from anywhere between $2,500 to $10,000. And this will be based on the amount of gross revenue that your business has within a year. And there's no interest for the term of the loan, which is 5 years, and there are no payments for the first 24 months. After that, if the money has been used for things designated by the loan program, up to 50% of the loan can be forgiven. So that's a great opportunity to get some money to help restart your business, help get back in the running to be able to get your business moving forward. The loan funds can be used for rent or mortgage payment, payroll cost, inventory or supply cost, and utility cost. So more information, again, go to doyourpartberks.com. We will be getting out more information out there for you. So please keep your eyes open for more information. Also, there will be a list of documents that you will need to submit with the loan. So don't wait till the last minute, go there, find out what these documents are. That way you can go preparing for them. You may need to have your accountant prepare some, or you may need to do some final paperwork for your 2019 numbers or your 2020 profit and loss. So go preparing that ahead of time. Also, one other program that's available out there is the PA 30-Day Fund. And that's a forgivable loan of $3,000 for businesses as well. It's not county, it's a private fund. It was put together by entrepreneurs who gave of their personal money to help out other entrepreneurs that need help. You can get more information at www.pa30dayfund.com, and that's digits 3 and 0. Again, that's www.pa30dayfund.com. And you can go there to apply for the fund, or you can also go there if you are a business owner or someone who wants to help donate to the fund to help other business owners. The second piece I want to talk about today is what's called Rebuilding Berks, and this is a county and Greater Reading Chamber Alliance joint program. And the goal of this is to be able to help businesses restart and grow. Due to the COVID pandemic, as you know, many small businesses has been affected. And not only that, but the buying habits of many people have changed as well. And businesses need to be able to adapt to that. So basically, for the public part of this, there are two things that go into this. The first one is a robust training program for businesses that apply for this program, or even if you don't need the loan program, you're able to get this robust training program, which will cover various things. Among them, one, a post-COVID training on how you keep customers and clients safe. that'll go over a number of things that you as a business owner need to be aware of. Because remember, it's not just about the sale, it's about keeping your employees and your clients safe as well. And with this program, you get a certificate you can put in your place of business, and it will help give your clients some degree of assurance that you are doing what you need to do to be able to keep them safe. There'll also be training in reference to growth and preparing for the future, as well as HR support. So apart from the training program, it will also be a restart loan program. The dollar amount we're not sure of yet. It will all depend on the CARES Act money that we get, the amount that we get from the state, but we're looking for it to be a sizable amount, and this will be a county-wide program. So one, it's money, but also apart from money, it's the training, because you can get the money, but if you don't know how to run your business, if you can't get out of the hole you're in right now, if you can't adapt to the new form of business that will be coming up, it makes no difference whether you have that money or not. So we want to make sure that one, we're getting the money to the businesses that need it to be able to grow and to thrive, but also that you have the resources, the training, the information that you need to be able to help your business grow as well. And talking about businesses, just keep in mind that although when we move into yellow, the stay-at-home order is lifted, businesses must continue to follow the safety protocols that are in place right now. Also, not all businesses are allowed to open, so you want to make sure that you find out if your type of business is allowed to open. In-person retail is allowed to open, and also restaurants, bars are still limited to carry out and delivery only. So we're looking forward to this, but please make sure that your business is allowed to open when we get to the yellow phase. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera and Commissioner Barnhart. As always, you provide some detailed and valuable information for our residents here in Berks County. Next to the COVID-19 virus and the results of it, both hospitalizations and tragically quite a number of deaths here in Berks County, there also is another area of negative fallout, and that is in our local economy, businesses in general. We are seeing levels of unemployment not seen since the Great Depression almost 100 years ago, back in 1929. Over the last several weeks, we've heard from many businesses, but especially small businesses that are struggling to stay afloat. We've heard from some businesses that have had to close their doors. This afternoon, we're very glad to have 4 businesses from throughout Berks County representing very different sectors. And I've asked each of them to come onto the program to share with us really 2 things. One, the challenges that they've faced with their business being closed as a result of COVID-19, how they're coping with that, and what it means to them as an owner or what it means to their business. And secondly, what they are already prepared to do to address reopening as a business, to protect employees, to protect customers. And our first presenter today is Lynn Kreider. Lynn Kreider is the owner of LJ Fitness, and very appropriately, I can see Lynn, and in the background, she has fitness equipment. So we're going to turn the program over to Lynn Kreider. Welcome.
Thank you, commissioners. We are so grateful as small business owners to have the opportunity to at least give our side of the story and how we're dealing with this COVID-19 pandemic. I've been in business for 30 years in Wilmersdorf, and I've never experienced anything like this. My doors have always been open and our club has been busy. So I guess my first adjustment has just been to have to deal with the quiet. It's way too quiet here at LJ's. We have very quickly looked to partner up with other fitness center owners that are in our same shoes. I mean, we find there's power in numbers. So we reached out to a group that was just starting up called the Pennsylvania Fitness Alliance. That's given us a little bit of camaraderie, if you will. We can bounce some ideas off of each other. So that's been really great. We sent information out to our members at LJ's Fitness. We actually even pulled a CDC website and a little hashtag to let people know that the CDC is also recommending exercise. They talked about the benefits of physical activity, and we shared this with our members. We also shared this in a letter with our representatives, our senators, and the governor, that it's good for brain health, it's good for weight management, it's good for cardiovascular disease, it's good for diabetics to be exercising, to be fit. Honestly, we really see ourselves as part of the healthcare continuum, and to have the fitness centers kind of at the bottom of the pile along with some other businesses in an industry, I don't understand it. We often get referrals from physical therapists who are permitted to continue to practice, from chiropractors who are practicing, from physicians post-operative. They send folks to us. So I'm a little perplexed as to why we're still in the red, if you will, not able to operate until the green phase. So in response to all this, you asked about what our club is doing. We actually, in partnership with the Pennsylvania Fitness Alliance, presented our plan to the CDC and to the Surgeon General, and they approved our fitness plan to reopen our clubs to keep not only our staff safe, but also our members safe. Things like taking temperatures for folks as they come back in the door. Before they come in the door, if it's anything above 100, we recheck, and if it's still high, then we ask them to come back on another fitness day. We're looking at limiting our capacity in our club, which we're a very social environment. So this is going to be a real rub for some folks to not realize you can't just hang out for hours at the gym anymore. So we have them reserving space on the treadmill. They have a time slot, a space in the main circuit area, a space in our lady circuit. So our members are going to have to experience a little bit more structured fitness time for themselves. But I think one of the biggest things, and this is, and a lot of what you guys have been talking about is so important with small business, not just fitness business. We're really the backbone of our communities. And over 30 years, we've been getting phone calls from the high school. Can you put an ad in the musical? From this sports group, can you put an ad in our program? My daughter's sick. Can you do a 5K and host that for her? And there's often just a lot of people with their hands out to the small business community. And we're thrilled to be partnering with people in that regard. But if we're kept closed, this is going to cripple, if not eliminate, so many small businesses. The community landscape isn't going to look the same anymore. So we're just really excited about going to the yellow phase and really hoping that fitness will be considered a little bit more of an essential business going forward, and maybe we'll get to open a little earlier.
Well, Lynn, thank you very much. And I think you make some compelling points, actually some points that in our email exchanges, I don't know that you made quite as well as you just did. And I want to make something clear. All three commissioners, almost day one, in response to the governor, said, we believe any business that can put together an effective, in your case, a CDC-approved health and safety plan to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 should be able to be open. Unfortunately, that has not been the case. We will continue to tell that story to the governor, to the Pennsylvania Department of Health. But thank you for coming on, and I'm certain we'll have some questions for you. Right. Our next presenter is Patsy Hahn. She is with us via the phone, and she owns Patsy's Potpourri and Gifts in Boyertown. Patsy, welcome to the Berks County Commissioner's weekly COVID-19 report.
Thank you so much for having me, Christian. I'm humbled after listening to Lynn. But I've been in business for 11 years in Boyertown. It's a small community, which we're trying to make a bigger community. And I am not in any conferences or anything like that. We're just small little businesses trying to work together. And this has devastated a lot of businesses. Not mine so much, but yet still. I'm open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday until the winter, which is my bigger season. But I've been out of commission since March 14th and looking very forward to going yellow. I had been a little frustrated in the very beginning because I am a tiny little store, so I am able to manage things a lot better than big stores, and yet I saw Big Lots and Target and all those places open selling the same things that I sell, but my store is all things made in the USA and local artisans. So I'm supporting America and I'm supporting local artisans, yet I was closed down, and yet the bigger stores that I feel are much more germ-oriented have been open. So that was a struggle for me, but then I just said, you know what, I'm just going to keep moving forward. So, and same with all the other stores in our little community. And we're looking so forward to being able to open and show that we are able to keep our customers safe. Many of the things that I am doing are like everybody else. I'm going to have a sign on my door that asks for masks. If you want to touch the items, you need to wear gloves. I have a UV, which I'm cleaning everything with. My place has been sanitized several times for the hope that I'm going to open soon. And I will go in tomorrow and do that again. I will be able to have just one or two people in each one of my rooms. I have 3 different rooms. And everybody's just going to have to work together to realize that to stay open, we have to obey the rules of the land and the store. And so for me, I'm just thankful that we're getting to the point that we can hopefully open and be safe and have our customers be safe. And like Lynn said, things are going to change. A lot of times customers hang out for a long time and just shoot the breeze, and those things won't be able. It'll be business not as usual at Patsy's.
Well, Patsy, thank you very much. I'm very familiar with your store just up from the Colebrookdale Railroad. And first 2 stories, I tell you what, are stories of 2 ladies that are hanging in there, that are waiting for the opportunity to reopen. And in both cases, it sounds like you're doing the right thing. Now, Patsy, you're exactly right. Not only are you forced to compete, you're closed, big box stores are open, but as you noted, and there's many little stores like yours, selling jewelry, selling clothing, that focus on selling U.S. made or locally sourced products, and they're the ones that are shut down. And guess what? They're not just hurting your store, they're hurting the people that you buy your products from wholesale. So really a challenge, but thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're very welcome, Patsy. Speaking of a variety, we go from fitness to gifts to hearing aid center. And the Advanced Hearing Aid Center, we have one of the owners here on our program today, Jill Rowley. And Jill, why don't you tell us about your experience with advanced hearing and COVID-19?
Thank you, commissioners. We started to feel the effects of the COVID-19 already back in February. Not only do we have the office in Exeter, Kevin also services 22 of assisted living facilities and nursing homes. So we were finding that they were already limiting our visits to his patients in the facilities at that time. So come March 20th, when Governor Wolf kind of put the red light on us, we called the Department of Health, and where Kevin has his certification and license with, they said no, we had to abide by the closure. And because we sell, we hate to use that word, but because it is a retail, we had to not be able to take on any new clients. He could do the repairs and he could do the service work. So when you have a new patient, the hearing aid, when the person does purchase a hearing aid, that is all bundled into the repair and the service if that is needed. So anybody who's coming to us now for service and repair is no profit. We're not making any money because we already made that profit 5, 12, 15 years ago. So how are we servicing hearing aids? How are we repairing hearing aids? We have people dropping them off at the door, reaching them through the windows of cars, dropping them in mail. We're picking them up in our mailboxes, mailing them back out to us. Also in our contracts, we provide free hearing aid batteries for life. We can't mail hearing aid batteries in the mail because that's a federal offense. We'll get fined. So we have to be creative with that as well. We're putting them on doors and envelopes and having them drive by our office and picking them up. So the ENTs in the area, because they're physicians, they have audiologists that work for them, and they're able to continue to see patients because they're in their offices. So there's our competition. So it's not really a big box, but it is competition for us. So what have we done to prepare? Because it is going to be a vulnerable community that we're going to be still dealing with because of the age of clientele. I'm a nurse, so I have been working through this time. Unfortunately, Kevin has not been. So I have been out there and I've been seeing, what is out there. So I have been able to kind of put the big plan together for him when the green light does come on June 5th. So we have installed the plexiglass around our reception station. We have put plexiglass around his examination desk. We have installed a ring device at our front door. Our doors will remain locked until the green light, until the state can go green. But until we're still in the yellow phase, the doors will remain locked, and they will have to use the ring device, and we'll use the video intercom system, and they will be allowed in when there is nobody else in the office. We're only going to have a limited number of patients in. Right now, we're probably only going to have 1 to 2. If a person comes in with a family member, then it will only be those 2 people, and then they'll have to wait in their car until, and then we'll, go out and have them come in or call them to come in. They have to come in with a mask. And after they're done, the office will be heavily sanitized and cleaned. Unfortunately, Kevin, with going into the nursing homes, we cannot go back into them until their facilities allow him to come back in, which that probably won't be for a while. As far as their guidelines, we have to oblige by them. So we are facing, a little bit of a crunch, and it has been, I mean, going from, seeing anywhere from 60 to, 90 people a week to seeing 0 has been, very, heartfelt. And, hearing, our calls that we were getting is, we're trying to FaceTime, we're trying to talk to our parents through windows, and we can't. How can we get them to hear us? Can we get them in your office for an appointment? We can't. We have, we've taken their name, we've taken their phone number to call them, when we can get in there. But until, we can start seeing patients again, it's been very, very disheartening to know that hearing has been not even a thought through this whole thing. Here we are trying to socially distance, and we're not able to see family, and here hearing has been a loss. Not only that, but with COVID and our loss of smell and our loss of taste being affected, also loss of hearing is one of the senses that is also affected. So for those vulnerable patients that fortunately have been able to recover from COVID, hearing is probably also one of the senses that is probably affected. And these vulnerable people, elderly, are struggling with hearing, and that's why we're having a hard time communicating with them. And we're getting these phone calls, and we have no answers for them because we cannot treat them right now. So we're looking forward to June 5th. We have phone numbers. We're going to be busy. So we appreciate, you and, what you've done to, bring us out here, to get our word out, and everything that the commissioners have done so far. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Jill. I will tell you, I'm just moved by the individual aspects of each of your stories. So we're going to go from a fitness center to a gift shop to advanced hearing to NHRA racing and Maple Grove Raceway. We have Sarah Gingrich here, and Sarah is the communications director for Maple Grove. And we already know NASCAR has run, is it 2 races already? I think Harvick and Kozlowski, I believe, I think I'm right on I know Kozlowski won the most recent one, but they're doing it without really anybody in the stands. Tell us about what it's been like for Maple Grove Raceway to deal with this shutdown, and what are your plans to reopen safely relative to health and safety issues with COVID-19? Sarah.
Well, it's funny you actually bring up NASCAR. I grew up in racing, so for me, I do watch NASCAR. So one thing that they have that we don't have the privilege of are TV rights. So we are a big facility in the sense of we've had you out for our national event in September, and that's great, but that's NHRA's TV rights. It's not necessarily ours. We are a local facility in the sense that we have bracket racing. So those are the people who basically they might just be your neighbor, and they race their car, or it's the soccer mom or the math teacher, or it could be anything. So those are the kind of people we deal with on a weekly basis. We can't sustain an operation with just the racers, if that makes sense, like NASCAR can. We don't have a TV production company where we can say, we have Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick, and those are the names that are going to fund our operations. So we have felt it. We're a facility in Pennsylvania. Come on. It's an outdoor facility. You only get so many good months a year,
Mhm.
and we're limited to 7 months. So we have to make enough income in 7 months to sustain survival for 12 months. And if it rains, we cannot race. So we have to shut down. So normally our worst decision is, hey, is it going to rain today? Can you predict the weather? Let's check every app on our phones to see if we're going to get hit by weather, and then we close. This is something that none of us have ever been faced with, and it's actually very difficult because we have a lot of people who are asking us, like, now people are starting to get very antsy. Not now, actually, the past 2.5 weeks or so, our social media has been blowing up, and so of our emails, and people are just banging down our door saying, when are you going to open up? When are you going to open up? And we haven't opened up. We've followed what the rules are, and there are other tracks in Pennsylvania opening up, and that's on their decision, not ours. But we want to make sure that we follow and do it the right way because we don't want to risk anybody's safety. Our employees and our racers and our fans they're the backbone of our operation. Without them, we wouldn't have anything. So we want to keep them safe. The racing community is a family. So you think of it as your family, and we want to see each other. You want to see your family, just like there's people who can't see their actual family now. So we get that everybody wants to race, but we've been very cautious. However, if we don't figure out a game plan, we might not be able to have a next year. We've been open since 1962, and we're family owned. We're not a big box store, just like the other 3 businesses. It's something that is influential to the community. Without those other 3 businesses, Berks County feels a loss. And I feel as if we're in the same boat where there's hotels and there's restaurants all getting business as well. And it's from gate prices, but also sponsorships. Those are where we get our 2 sources of income. And our sponsors are either feeling the hurt from not being able to open, or they're saying, we aren't going to pay you everything and we need a refund because you haven't been able to fulfill your contract. So not only are we losing the money from not being able to get the gate prices for racers and spectators, but we're also having to return money for our sponsors who either can't pay or us not fulfilling our contract. So we're kind of, my mother always used the term hemorrhaging money, and it's a very old term, but that's what it sort of feels like. You don't know where to stop. We have things in place that we're looking to if we do get any sort of approval, because I know that if we use and move to the yellow phase, that doesn't mean we're cleared to go. We're kind of in the middle here of what we are classified as, and we have a phasing process that we would just need some sort of income, either if it's just a testing session or small. We aren't looking for spectators. As much as we love them, we aren't looking for them. We just want racers to have a place to race as a source of income. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
part of the process would be your normal temps, hand sanitizer, cleaning, that whole 9 yards.
yeah, I was going to just ask you, how do you prepare to protect customers and racers from a health and safety aspect with COVID-19 at a drag strip?
Well, we have a lot of land and a lot of flat land. So on a basis, we might have anywhere from 100 to 300 racers. And we have over 200 acres of land where we can spread them out. On a normal basis, a lot of them like to pit 12 feet apart, 13 feet apart. So that's not a problem. We would make sure that everybody is pitted far enough apart. Our tower wouldn't be open. We wouldn't be giving any payments out in person. Everything would be mailed. All our employees would be wearing gloves and a mask. On a safety perspective for our staff, if they, like our starting line and our top end, they wouldn't be wearing masks up. They would have them around their neck because they are so far apart and it being sort of hot, but they have them with them. So if there is an accident cleanup or a spill on the track, they would just pull them up when they're around. Temperatures would be taken for our employees. we don't want to say people from outside areas aren't welcome, but we're going to say something that if you're from an area that's highly infected with COVID, we just ask that you be mindful. We're not trying to be in a lawsuit of any sort with that, but we want people to be mindful and make decisions on their own in that aspect.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of our presenters. Again, Lynn Kreider from LJ Fitness, Patsy Hahn from Patsy's Potpourri, Jill Rowley from Advanced Hearing Aid Center, and Sarah Gingrich from Maple Grove Raceway. Really appreciate you telling your story. And with that, I'm going to turn to my executive assistant, Mary Buer, and I know that she has several questions that she is going to share.
Okay, Karen Shuey from the Reading Eagle. How are the business owners featured on the call preparing to reopen? Do they feel they have enough resources, PPE, and guidance to open their doors to the public? What kind of changes will they implement to adhere to the CDC recommendations?
So which one of our business owners, or more than one, would like to answer that? I know you've addressed that to some degree, but just jump in.
Something that we've implemented, and if I'm sure we're all dealing with the same problem where you try and call your vendor to get, now in the fitness business, we've always used hand sanitizer. We've always had white buckets around. So now we're trying to double those up. They're not available. The wait time is into July. So fortunately, we've had some things available that we've been able to double up, and within arm's reach of our club, you're going to be able to find bottled hand sanitizer as well as the dispensers on the wall and the wipes. Our staff will have masks to wear. We also just purchased some masks if someone would want to come into the club and they wouldn't have a mask available. We also purchased an electrostatic sprayer. So that will be a time saver for our club to go around and clean everything. We're going to be shut down for 2 hours in the afternoon and walk through the club and make sure everything is sanitized, disinfected, and ready to go for the next group coming in. But this is all a cost of doing business. And so we've been cut back, but we've had to ramp up at the same time. So it's been a challenge. I'm sure the other businesses would agree.
And Lynn, you noted that your association took your plans, if you will, and they were approved by the CDC. Did we understand that correctly?
Correct, Commissioner. Yes, they were approved by the CDC.
Very good. Anyone else want to jump on and answer that? Jill.
I have posted, right when you come into our foyer, I have posted all the guidelines from the CDC so that our clientele will see, exactly, what the CDC is recommending for the small businesses to do. When they do walk in, we have the temperature to be taken. And as we were able to go into the big box stores and there was hand sanitizer, I had been taking my one that we were allowed and putting it in the offices and making sure that we do have hand sanitizer available for when we do open. So I do have my surplus and hand sanitizing wipes. So we are in good shape in that aspect. And like I said, we did install the Ring device. So we, are going to keep our door locked. So we're not going to have anybody, because we did have the open door policy. We had walk-ins available, prior to the COVID. So our doors is going to remain locked. So we're not going to have that traffic coming in and out. So we're not going to be able to, we're only going to be seeing patients by appointment only. So we're going to be able to limit that.
And thank you, Jill. Patsy would like to comment. Patsy Hahn.
Sorry, did I hit the button too soon? Anyway, as I'm listening to everybody, I'm not a good outdoor speaker, but I wanted to let everyone know. Of course, I will be wearing the mask. I do have hand sanitizer. I will be cleaning my doorknobs, but I think that I'm a little bit different because I don't get quite as many people in as the others do. I can limit that. I'm able to keep a handle on that better. I won't be locking my door, but I will make sure that I don't have too many people in the store. And I will ask them if they are going to touch, because we are in a gift store and I have 159 different artisans in there, so I have a lot of stuff, and I will UV it every day, but it's very hard to handle that, like clean up every time someone touches something. So that's why I got the UV wand, which is really a blessing. And so I'm going to ask them, I'm going to ask them if they want to look, that's fine. If they're ready to buy and they want to touch, they have to wear gloves. And unfortunately, that's going to be an inconvenience for everyone in all businesses, but it's something we have to do. And I do have gloves available. And I just wanted to know, I didn't want to say, I am a one-man owner, so I haven't had a paycheck since March 14th. So in that sense, that's been a little tough, but nevertheless, I do think about all my vendors because I was still buying stuff at that point before we were shut down, so I am responsible to pay them. So that was kind of tricky, and I was able to get a small business loan from my bank, which I hope is going to be a forgiveness. So that was helpful because I still have to pay my rent. And as everybody else, we all have to pay our bills, our electric and our phone. And if we're not working, we're not making money, of course, that's a struggle. But always, it's the most important thing is to make sure our customers and patients and clients are safe. And that's what I want to project.
Thank you, Patsy. Anyone else? Okay, Mary, next question.
Kelly McDonough from Spring Township. Good afternoon. To our small business owners, what assistance do you need from your elected officials in the state and local level to not just reopen safely, but to meet the challenges of adapting to this new business environment once our county moves to yellow? Thank you.
Anyone want to jump in on that?
Well, I think part of the support that we'd be looking for in the health club business, there have been, and they've been on the news, there are those that are just chomping at the bit to reopen, whether it's their members are yelling to them or they think it's, their rights are violated and it's their constitutional right to be open and whatever that looks like. I think probably the biggest thing is compliance. If we agree as an industry to put CDC guidelines in place to keep everybody safe, and I don't have any idea what this looks like, but to have some kind of follow-up or some sort of checks and balances. If you say you're going to do something as a business, to have some sort of just group that pops in and says, hey, I'm just here to make sure you're doing things like you promised. That would be the only thing I would say.
Anyone else want to?
I was thinking
Sarah?
something I was thinking, we have worked with our local, like our state representatives and things, but the thing that I'm most looking for on behalf of Maple Grove would just be the communication factor. We have worked really hard. I've actually spent more time doing political things than I have with social media and marketing. And I feel in my position, I don't get to have my own beliefs. I do, but it doesn't matter what I believe. I'm trying to open up our business, and it's hard because all I want are I'm not trying to go against the rules. I just want answers. What are we classified and who makes these decisions? And you hear from other people on states and they're saying, do this, do that. And I don't even know how we get a hold of those people. And the people that I have been talking with have been so helpful, but the public just doesn't get it. And it's hard because we understand I'm antsy to get out of the house too. By all means, I love racing. This is killing me here. It's May, it's gorgeous weather, but we want to do it right. And I just need communication from officials, and who do we talk to? And, you know, we're not a normal business.
Well, Sarah, one thing I want to share, all 4 of these businesses are one of many that have reached out to the county commissioners and asked to be able to tell your story to Governor Wolf. And in all of these cases, your story was forwarded on to a contact in Governor Wolf's administration, and hopefully they will understand that we not only need some communication, we need some common sense in the rules, and it's confusing. And I've heard from all of you, my colleagues are as frustrated as you are, and the lack of communication has been #1 issue. County commissioners, I was on a call, I didn't even get to talk to my colleagues, but I was on a call, the first of 3 calls a week with the governor's office and DOH. The call lasted 15 minutes. After they were done with their opening comments, we had time for 1 question. And the question came from me. It was, since the rules just changed on green, and they did over the weekend, they became more restrictive, not less restrictive. What comes after green? And the answer was, nothing comes after green. And we're waiting. I have a call on Friday, and I've already let our folks know in our state association we better have more time for answers. But that is a challenge. We just want to know, how do we plan? Commissioner Barnhart.
To Sarah's point, I was with a person on Monday who said he's going to Lincoln Speedway dirt track, and I said, how are you going there? He said, they're making people sign a waiver, a hold harmless agreement. I said, they're not worth the paper they're written on. But so how they're going to social distance watching a dirt race track, you know, to your point, you could probably do that now with social distancing and let people run their cars down there. They're only in the car by themselves, and maybe their friends are sitting in the stands, 2 or 3 friends, 6 or 10 feet apart. So I really understand the frustration you guys have, because you've really thought this through and recognize how you can open up safely for the customers. And I applaud you for being on today, and hopefully we can get you open up sooner, get you back to where we need you to be. So
yeah, and just so you know, you may not be aware of this. Not only is this being broadcast live on Microsoft Teams, it's being broadcast as well on Facebook Live for the county and on our YouTube page. And you'll be able to go back and share this. And I would encourage you to take advantage, share this on your social media. Let people know that you're not just sitting in a corner trying to figure out how you're going to survive. You're speaking up, you're standing up, and you're letting people know you're not a careless business owner that only cares about money. And you've heard that, and I've heard that. You don't have anything if you don't have customers. Nobody's going to care more about individual customers than each of you. I'm not saying the big box stores don't care, but we all saw what happened the first 3 weeks they were open and you were closed. Almost nothing in the way of social distancing, nothing to take care of their customers or take care of their employees. The very things that you're being required to do to reopen didn't happen for several weeks. And I think that's a shame. I really do. On this question, anyone else want to jump in and answer? I think we have one more question that probably will throw to Commissioner Barnhart. Mary, can you share that?
Sure. Jess Royer from Spring Township. Will mail-in ballots be accepted if they are postmarked by June 2nd, even if they are not received until after June 2nd?
Kevin, I have the answer. It's Christine.
Go ahead.
The answer is that the mail-in ballots must be received in the office by 8 p.m. on Election Day. It does not matter what the postmark is on the actual mail-in ballot. If you want your ballot to count, it must be physically in the office by the time the polls close. I would point out to people that we do have a box in the lobby of the services center for people to come in if they don't feel comfortable coming in the building and going into the office. There's a box that they can deposit their ballot right there. That's with the security and the sheriff's department. So we are trying to make it easy for people to bring their ballots in and meet that deadline. I would also remind people that you have mail time. And our mail generally in this area goes to Harrisburg first before it comes to Reading to process. So if you think that you can mail it in Boyertown and it's going to get the next day to Reading, that is not.
Not like, okay. Well, thank you for those that may not know, that was Christine Sadler, our county solicitor. Commissioner Barnhart, go ahead.
I think the bottom line is don't wait till the last minute. I think I filled my ballot out. It's probably a month ago. So yeah, let's not wait. Let's not go up against the deadline. If you want to do an absentee, well, you actually have the ballot in your hand. Get it in is the short answer. Thank you.
Yeah, we're at the end of the questions. I'm going to give an opportunity first to any of our presenters if you'd like to make any share any closing thought or comment. Just jump right in.
Well, I think it's very interesting to see that, you know, a racetrack, a fitness facility, and a hearing aid equipment place, sort of an appropriate, all sort of have things that are in the same realm. And it's good to see that even though you have totally different avenues, we're all sort of facing the same way. And I know that sounds very horrible, but it's good to know that you're not alone, especially at these times where it feels like you're very alone, especially when talking to people as you're living. And now you're kind of just looking at the walls and you're thinking, well, what do I do now? You're used to being so busy. So it's good to know that we do have people who are understanding where we come from. It's good. And I appreciate you having me on, especially just to feel like we have a voice.
Thank you. Anyone else want to comment?
I would agree, just to piggyback on what she just said, you do feel isolated in this time of quarantine and you feel alone. And the one tagline we use in our club all the time is, we are one or we are none. And I think that really applies here. We are all in this together, and we have to remember, whether you're a speedway or you're a hearing aid business or fitness or, you know, a gift store. I mean, it's we all have the same problem, and we service people. We have customers that we depend on, and they depend on us. So thank you, commissioners, very much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
I
Jill.
just want to say thank you for everything that the three of you have done for Berks County, making, you know, us aware of what is available, you know, for the small businesses. You know, we did apply for the PP protection loans, and because we only had one employee, we were disqualified. So we weren't even able to, and it was, you know, what you are coming up with, you know, for the loans, you know, through the county, that, you know, giving us another opportunity is, you know, very helpful. So we appreciate everything that you are doing, you know, as commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you
Patsy.
hear me, Christian?
Yes, Patsy, go right ahead.
Okay. I'm really bad with buttons, so I hit a button and I'm thinking I might be muted again. But yes, thanks again. And thank you for all the information. That's been very, very helpful to me, because I'm not on any lifeline with, you know, any other people per se. I mean, big committees or anything. Of course, our town is all pulling together and we share our resources. But thank you for everything. I read everything. I have written down all the things that, were given earlier, and it's just a blessing that we have your support. And I thank you again to all three of you.
Thank you, Patsy. My colleagues, either one of you want to make a closing comment?
I just want to thank the ladies for participating today. It opened my eyes again to the situation out there, and hopefully things will get back to normal sooner rather than later for you guys to get back and service your customers who sorely need you.
Amen.
Yep. Yeah, I want to thank you for being on here as well. And I want to thank you also for understanding the importance of opening the right way. I can see you've all thought through it. You've all looked at ways in which you can protect your clients, your employees, because you understand that that's the most important thing. To be able to have your business, for your business to be able to grow and get back to where it used to be at, people have to feel safe going to your place of business. And when you start implementing these protocols and the word gets around that you're doing it the right way, that's definitely going to help your business. So thank you very much. We're all in this together, and I can see you're doing your part so that Berks can open safely. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to compliment all four of you. I'll tell you what, as I sat and listened to what you had to say, I didn't hear whining. I didn't hear complaining. I heard from 4 Berks County residents that if I was in a tough spot, I'd want you on my team. I'm proud of the way you have faced something that's absolutely unprecedented. As I noted in the beginning, as commissioners, we could have never predicted we'd be here, nor could you, but you're here. And you're standing up for what you believe in, you're planning, you're doing everything that you possibly can. And I want to thank you. You're the kind of people that make up our community. And you're one of the reasons I love Berks County. So thank you very much. Thank you to my colleagues. And again, we will be back next week at 3:30 p.m. with our weekly COVID-19 update. Thank you and stay safe.
Thank you.